there's no possible way in earth or hell that this movie could be worse than the Tim Story movies, right? Right? So this is the third attempt by Fox to make a Fantastic Four movie, and the fourth Fantastic Four movie overall. The first actually being a movie in the 90s that Roger Corman was in charge of. It was dog shit. But this movie basically once again tells the story of the Fantastic Four and their origin story. We have Reed Richards, played by Miles Teller, Sue Storm, played by Kay Mora, Johnny Storm, played by Michael B. Jordan, and Ben Grimm, played by Jamie Bell. Basically, Reed Richards is a really smart kid who invents a teleporter of some kind in his garage when he's a little boy. And then many years go by, he's recruited by Dr. Storm to come in and work on a bigger version along with his two children, Sue Storm and Johnny Storm, and a colleague of theirs named Victor Von Doom. The machine works out, but unfortunately some sort of accident leaves Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben in some sort of accident as they get some weird powers, and then they have to stop a friend of theirs who's become there's no point in trying to say it. It's basically Victor Von Doom turns evil. They have to stop him. Now, the Fantastic Four is a Marvel property that I'm probably least familiar with, at least amongst the well-known properties, because they've never had a good movie. One of the reasons I got into Iron Man, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, and so on was because really badass movies were made about those characters. And I'm like, oh, I can see why these characters are awesome. I know the Fantastic Four has the potential to be awesome because I've seen some cartoons where they were badass. I've heard some things from comic fans on how they're badass, but the movies never really seem to do them justice. So in the year 2015, where we have movies like The Dark Knight, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men Days of Future Past, so on and so forth, we have the chance to actually make a great Fantastic Four movie, to make it like very faithful to the comics and also appeal to the mass and people who don't really know about the Fantastic Four that much. Well, Fox tried it again, and again, they failed. And not only did they fail, not only did they fail, but I don't know how this happened, made this movie worse than the two movies with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans in it. I don't know how that even happened, but not only is this worse than those movies, not only is it worse than the Roger Corman movie, I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but it's the worst superhero movie I think I've ever seen, and I'll get into that near the end. First of all, we've all heard the troubles with production. We've been very skeptical about the production of this movie, how it was going to stray away from the comics, all that stuff. I know there was criticism about Michael B. Jordan being Johnny Storm, but you know what? I could deal with it. It's like, as long as the actor's good, who cares? And plus, if Idris Elba can play Heimdall, Michael B. Jordan can play Johnny Storm. But anyway, we've heard all the stories, and some of us were skeptical, like me, but as the weeks went by, as this movie was getting closer to its release, I started getting more excited. It's like, you know what? Screw everything that I have to say. I want to see this. I'm excited for it. Shit. Oh, man. What do I say about this movie? It's dog shit. Okay, let's go over the big problems with this movie. One, the story. Basically, it's the origin story of the Fantastic Four, but it's so mishandled, so slow, and it's so poorly done that you don't get a sense of fun. You don't really get to know the characters. It's just all, hey, we gotta tell the story, but make it a setup for another sequel. And that's the same thing that happened with the Tim Story Fantastic Four movie from 10 years ago. Wow, that movie's 10 years old. But anyway, that movie got made because Fox was about to lose the rights, so they had to get this movie made really quickly. This movie's made for the same reason. And now with the MCU in full force, Fox really rushed to get this movie made because they didn't want the rights to go back to Marvel, and it clearly shows because this movie... I'm sorry, it's just this movie. The story is a bunch of setup. The dialogue is all exposition. There's no actual conversations between the characters. There's no chemistry between the team members or even between the leader and its main villain. From what I've seen in other interpretations of the Fantastic Four, like, there's camaraderie between Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm. Like, they're always, like, picking on each other, but they're still good friends. You don't get that here. In fact, the two of them hardly spend any time together on screen. There's no love connection between Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Like, there's no romantic interest, nothing at all. There's no relationship between Sue Storm and Johnny Storm because they're literal family. The thing about the Fantastic Four is that they are what's been called Marvel's first family. They stick together, they act like a family, and they really, like, care and love each other. There is no love throughout this movie. There's no heart. And you'd think that the two characters that are actually siblings would have chemistry and care for each other, but no. And there's not even rivalry between Reed Richards and Doctor Doom. Like, one of the things that I've heard about is that Doctor Doom, we're just going to go into this right now. Doctor Doom is the best Marvel villain ever. Next to Magneto, Loki, and Ultron, Doctor Doom is Marvel's greatest villain. He's very intelligent, he's menacing, he's this badass ruler of the country Latveria, and he has this rivalry with Reed Richards because just out of, like, intelligence. Like, Doom wants to be better than Reed Richards, but Reed Richards, in the end, is the smarter guy. And here, Doctor Doom is smarter than Reed Richards for some reason, and the first time we see him with long hair, a grown-out beard, with his feet kicked up on the table, playing PC games, because he's a part of the PC master race. There's a note that says he's from Latveria, but he has an accent like he's from California or something. I don't know. Like, basically, it's so bad when it starts, but it gets worse once we actually see him in, like, the mask, the hood, and his motivation is just goddamn retarded. Like, he wants to destroy the world for God knows whatever reason. So he is probably the worst villain in a comic book movie I've ever seen. He makes Malekith have a great personality. He makes... I can't believe you're making me do this movie. He makes Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin look like the Joker from The Dark Knight. Like, this Doctor Doom is so horrible. And then your actors don't even do that well. Like, the acting ranges from okay with people like Miles Teller, Kate Mara, and Michael B. Jordan to bad with people like Jamie Bell and Toby Kebbell, who plays Doctor Doom, and then to downright terrible with this actor, Reggie Cathy, who plays Sue and Johnny's father. Like, he is so robotic in this movie. All of his dialogue is like speech after speech after speech. He has no facial expressions. And there's even, like, a line, he's like, "You're going to give me what I want. You will not experiment on my kids. You cannot be allowed to do that." It's like, who was directing that part? It's like, did Josh Trank just say, "Okay, that's a good take. Let's move on to the next scene"? Ugh. And then the effects are terrible, especially when Reed Richards is stretching out. The attempts at comedy are painful to watch. This movie has no idea what tone it wants to take. Like, the first half of the movie, before they get their powers, it's supposed to be very lighthearted, kind of funny, and like, okay, these jokes don't work, and the acting's okay, but this could get better. But once they get their powers, it just gets worse and worse, and it just takes itself way too seriously, like something out of a science fiction horror film like Alien. With the Fantastic Four, it's hard for me to take this seriously. Like, this really could have used some punch-up. Like, this could have used the team behind Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, the Avengers. This could have used goddamn Marvel Studios! Oh my god, I am so sorry. I am really losing my shit over this movie, but not in a positive way. So, I'll just say this. Like, at the end of the day, the movie is the biggest crime this movie has, outside of being completely unfaithful to the comics and just being set up for another sequel. It is boring as fuck. There is hardly any action, and the only action sequence in this movie is near the end, and it's pretty shitty. And, I want to get back to why I think this is the worst superhero movie ever made. At this point in our lives, superhero movies have gotten to a point where we have dozens of blueprints on how to make good superhero movies. I can list them all right here. I have a pile of good examples right here. Richard Donner's Superman, Tim Burton's Batman, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, Bryan Singer's X-Men movies, mainly Days of Future Past, Iron Man, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Avengers, my favorite superhero movie of all time, the motherfucking Avengers, and then probably for Fantastic Four, the most damning example, The Incredibles. This is a good Fantastic Four movie. This is the only movie that comes close to being an actual Fantastic Four movie because it's an actual superhero family. Why didn't they just take notes from the goddamn Incredibles? So we have so many examples. There's no excuse for this movie to be as bad as it is. But is it worse than the movie that everyone claims is the worst superhero movie? Batman and Robin, the movie that not only killed the Batman franchise for a while, but killed the superhero genre until Bryan Singer released X-Men. I think this Fantastic Four is worse than Batman and Robin. I would watch Batman and Robin 5 times in a row before watching this movie ever again. And the reason is, you can make the excuse that this movie is just a big budget modern remake of the Adam West Batman. I mean, it doesn't excuse for this being a shitty movie, and nobody wants to see that Batman anymore, but at least you could enjoy it for its campiness. It had something you could enjoy out of it. This movie has no heart, no fun, no joy, no humor, nothing to enjoy. Obviously, I'm expressing a lot of frustration and anger for this movie, and when I'm expressing anger in my review, I'm telling this movie to go burn in hell. Go burn in the fiery pits of hell and stay there, you fucking piece of shit. Oh, the only good thing that could come out of this is Marvel could get the rights back very soon, hopefully, because if this movie flops, Fox will hopefully have given up. Like, there was nothing they could do, and Marvel can make a good Fantastic Four movie. I mean, they made Thor work, they made Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man work, 2 properties that nobody knows anything about outside of hardcore comic fans. They made a better Hulk movie than Academy Award winner Ang Lee, and they made a fantastic Daredevil show just this year after Ben Affleck's shitty movie. So, Marvel, you get the rights back, make a good Fantastic Four movie. Disney, you have the money, just buy the rights from Fox. Buy the film rights from Fox, give them back to Marvel so they can do justice. That's my review for the Fantastic Four. In terms of worst movie I've seen this year, anything could change up until now in December, but it's a 3-way tie between this, Pixels, and 50 Shades of Grey. But I want to end things on a positive note. Over the last few months, I've been working on a project. And just today, I can introduce that project. I have created my own website, therealmrrobinson.com, where you can find all my movie reviews, video game let's plays, TV show reviews, podcasts. I'm still tweaking some things here and there, but since I've already archived all my reviews from the day I started this channel on that website, it's up. Go check it out, therealmrrobinson.com. Tell me what you think of it. And as always, leave a comment and tell me what you thought of this movie if you've seen it, God forbid. What did you think? Like, subscribe, share me with your friends. And this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one.